Now that we know how to create a block, let's expand on the concept and talk a little bit about how to use blocks to our advantage. We're going to go into the Chapter 14 folder located inside our exercise files directory, and I want to open up drawing number 2, the office drawing. So I'll highlight this guy and we'll click open. Now on my screen I've got a portion of an office building, and this is an architectural example, so everything in this drawing was created using architectural measurements. Let's say I'm designing the floor plan and furniture layout for a civil engineering firm. Now I've already designed the layout for the walls, and at this point I'm currently inserting my furniture. Now my client has chosen specific furniture he wants to use for this office, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft each piece of furniture and turn it into a block. That way if I want to insert a mainline desk into somebody's office, all I have to do is insert a block as opposed to copying geometry around on my screen. Now I've already created some of my furniture blocks, but I'm going to make another one right now. Let me zoom over to the right. This line work represents an executive desk, and this was drawn using the actual dimensions for this piece of furniture, so I know that the block that I'm creating is the actual size. Before I turn this into a block, I want to click on these entities, and I want you to take a look at the layer control and notice that all of these guys were drawn on layer 0. That fact will be important a little bit later. Let me hit escape to clear the grips, and let's turn this guy into a block. I'm going to come over to my draw toolbar, and I'm going to click my make block icon. This brings up my block definition dialog. From here, we'll give this block a name. I'm going to call it Executive Desk. Now that we've given the block a name, I'm going to come down to the base point area, and I'm going to select Pick Point. Now, what would be the logical location that I would like to be holding this from when I insert it into the drawing? Well, this is furniture, so my point's not that important because once I place it into the drawing, I can always rotate it or move it if necessary. I'm going to select the corner right here. Now I'm going to go to the Objects area. We'll click the Select Objects button. What objects would I like to be a part of my block? Well, I'm going to click out in space here, and we'll make a nice window around these entities. Let me click to finish the window, and then we'll right-click to finish the selection. I have just created a block called Executive Desk. Now, last thing, what do I want to do with this geometry? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to convert it into my first inserted block, or do I want to delete it? I'm going to delete it, because if I need it again, all I have to do is insert the block. Let me click OK. That guy disappears. Now, good form says that we should insert our blocks onto a layer of their own. And the layer scheme that you use is entirely up to you. For example, I'm currently inserting furniture. I could make a layer called Furniture and then insert all of my furniture blocks onto that layer. Or I could be even more specific. If I click the layer control, you can see that I've created a layer for each type of furniture. Now I've got a layer for my executive desks. Let me click on that layer to set it current. And let's insert one of our blocks. I'm going to come down to my draw toolbar and I'm going to click my insert block icon. And when I do, remember I already have some furniture blocks defined. So let me click the drop down and we're going to come down and select our executive desk. Now when I bring this into the drawing, I want AutoCAD to ask me the insertion point. As far as scale, I want this to go in at the size in which it was created, so I'm just going to leave this set to 1. And I'm not going to worry about rotation right now. Once again, it's furniture. I can always drop it into the room and move it around and rotate it if I wish. Let me click OK. All right, let's take and insert the desk into this office. I'm just going to move up and click the end point of the wall right here. Now notice that desk is red. That's because my block was created from entities that were drawn on layer 0. You see, if you create a block from entities that were drawn on layer 0, the block will assume the properties of the layer that it's inserted on. This can be very helpful because I can have multiple insertions of blocks in my drawing, and I could have them set to be different colors just by putting them on different layers. Now imagine if I inserted all of the furniture into my office using the same procedure that we've just seen. In fact, let me back up and we'll pan over to the CAD room. Notice that each one of these pieces of furniture is a block. I created one block that defined my mainline desk, and then I inserted that each time I needed one. Let me hit escape. I created a block that represented a folding table. I inserted that folding table at each location where I needed one. Let me hit escape again. Likewise, I made a block for my file cabinets. I even made a block for the cube partitions. such that I can insert a cube partition wherever I needed one. Let me hit Escape to clear the grip, and we'll back up a little bit. Since each piece of furniture in this office is a block, it's very easy for me to move these around and arrange them and rearrange them. And I know that since each piece of furniture was created using real dimensions, I know that all of this furniture will fit within this space. At some point, this drawing begins to act more like an assembly than a traditional line drawing. As you can see, this file is almost completely created from blocks. Since we used blocks for our repeated geometry, as opposed to copying individual lines and arcs, we have much more control over our furniture and can make fast revisions with the assurance that our geometry is consistent across the entire drawing.